What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Dylan Matthews back at it again with the Hometown Take Podcast, episode 13, coming at you right now. What is going on, people? I hope you all are well. Of course, it is a beautiful day outside. Earlier, it was searing some thunder, but now the sun is shining. It didn't rain, so I'm feeling good about today. NBA free agency is upon us, and it's going crazy. It started yesterday at 6 p.m., Obviously, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Atlanta Braves. But let's go ahead and start with the crazy NBA free agency frenzy that is upon us right now. As I just mentioned, started yesterday at 6 p.m. Let's go over all the moves quickly. And then, obviously, we're going to touch on the big moves. We're going to touch on some of the smaller moves, but the moves that'll still have some impact as well. So let's go ahead and get into it right now. Of course, obviously, the Brooklyn Nets, the big winners in NBA free agency so far. Kawhi Leonard is still out there. We'll get into that a little bit later. But the Brooklyn Nets signing Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, DeAndre Jordan. Also, sneaky good move, Garrett Temple. But of course, KD and Kyrie, the two big moves. KD signing to a 4-year, $164 million contract. And Kyrie Irving signing to a 4-year, $141 million contract. DeAndre Jordan signed into a 4-year, $40 million. Actually, KD and Kyrie took less, so DeAndre Jordan could get that 4-year, $40 million contract. Garrett Temple, a 2-year, $10 million contract. But KD and Kyrie, the biggest signings thus far. Right behind them, Klay Thompson gets a 5-year, $190 million deal to stay in Golden State, so he will remain with his splash brother, Steph Curry. Kemba Walker, a part of a sign and trade. So basically, Kemba Walker and Terry Rozier swap teams. Sign and trade between Boston and Charlotte. So Kemba is going to the Celtics. His deal with Boston is 4 years, $141 million. The max contract for old Kemba. Al Horford moving on from Boston and going to Philly for 4 years, $109 million. 97 of that million is guaranteed. And he has $12 million in bonuses that he can earn. Another big move. This was probably the most surprising move yesterday. D'Angelo Russell. You know, there was talks about him maybe reuniting with his team that drafted him in the Los Angeles Lakers, but he is going to Golden State, the Warriors. So they kind of made up for KD in a way. I mean, you can't replace a unicorn like KD, but they did get D'Angelo Russell. He's going to Golden State, 4 years, $117 million max contract. Now, this was probably the most complicated trade that had the most moving parts in it. Jimmy Butler going to not Houston, not staying in Philly, but going to the Miami Heat, part of a sign-and trade. So the contract, just to start it off a little simple, it's going to get much more complicated here in just a second. The contract, 4 years, $142 million. Josh Richardson, I believe, is involved in the trade. Goran Dragic is believed to be part of the trade. They're looking for a trade partner for him. Now, the Clippers and the Portland Trail Blazers are part of the trade. So the Clippers are going to get a first-round pick. They're going to get Maurice Harkless from the Portland Trail Blazers. The Sixers are going to get Josh Richardson in the deal. And Miami is also sending future first-round picks to the Clippers. So that's the basics of the deal. That's basically everything you need to know about the deal. Shout out to Adrian Wojnarowski from ESPN, keeping everything together. Moving on with more free agency moves. Tobias Harris is staying in Philly. He got a 5-year, $180 million deal. Malcolm Brogdon is on the move. The point guard, former Rookie of the Year for the Milwaukee Bucks. He is going to be a part of a sign and trade deal with Indiana. So he's going to Indy. He has a 4-year, $85 million deal in place with the Indiana Pacers. And Milwaukee is going to get a first-round pick and 2 second-round picks for the point guard. Other moves include, also, almost forgot to mention, Andre Iguodala is going to be on the move from Golden State. So, man, a guy that meant almost everything to Golden State. He was a defender. He knocked down big threes. As a part to clear cap space, he is on the move from Golden State. So people have been kind of getting on the loyalty of Golden State there, and just the more Andre Iguodala or D'Angelo Russell, which, I mean, you can't really blame the Golden State Warriors because, I mean, they have to kind of re-up, or at least they felt like they needed to re-up after losing KD, and they already don't really have a bench. So instead of really trying to maybe re-sign Andre Iguodala and fill out that bench, maybe retaining Kevon Looney, who they might not be able to keep now, they are going to get a very nice point guard, first-time All-Star in D'Angelo Russell. Obviously, when Klay is out, he's going to be in the starting lineup. Hopefully, him and Steph will be able to work together. Steph can move well off the ball, and D'Angelo Russell, obviously, maybe will have to learn to move off the ball some, but he'll have his hands on the ball most of the time. But we'll just see how it works out. But back to this Andre Iguodala trade. He's going to Memphis along with a 2024 first-round pick from Golden State, which is protected 1 through 4, a 2025 first-round pick that is protected if the Golden State Warriors get the number 1 overall pick, and a 2026 first-round pick that is unprotected. So 3 first-round picks and Andre Iguodala are going to the Memphis Grizzlies just to make way for D'Angelo Russell. So Warriors doing a little overhaul there just to clear some cap space for that man D'Angelo. Hopefully that works out for them. Still not going to be the same. I mean, they're still going to be missing Klay. So NBA is wide open right now. Really, the NBA is kind of back in balance after yesterday. Moving on with some more free agency moves. Chris Middleton, Brook Lopez, both staying in Milwaukee. Chris Middleton's deal, 5 years, $178 million. Brook Lopez, a 4-year, $52 million deal. JJ Redick is on the move. He's going to the new look New Orleans Pelicans, who are even more new look now. Good pickup, though, for New Orleans. Got a shooter who's going to be in with some of those young players, just a veteran. Just going to be good to have a veteran presence in the locker room for those young guys in New Orleans. Zion, Lonzo, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart. It'll be good to have a veteran like JJ Redick, a good vet who will still provide some production on the floor with his three-point shooting. So good move there for New Orleans. Patrick Beverley is staying in Clipperland. He signed a 3-year, $40 million deal to stay with the Clippers. Some other, I don't want to say lesser deals, but not quite as big, not the big name players. So we'll go through those as well really quickly. Jonas Valanciunas staying in Memphis. He was part of that trade that sent Marc Gasol to the world champion Toronto Raptors. So he's going to stay in Memphis, 3 years, $45 million. Pelicans also getting busy. They're going to sign a EuroLeague power forward in Nicolo Melli. That's going to be a 2-year, $8 million deal. So we'll see, the Pelicans trying to get a little San Antonio Spursy signing a EuroLeague guy. We'll see how that works out for them. Harrison Barnes, the ultimate securer of the bag. This man, Harrison Barnes, granted, he was great in Golden State, and he's still putting up pretty good numbers. If he was a bum, he wouldn't be getting 4 years, $85 million. He's productive, and he's been productive to a Sacramento Kings team that is on the rise. But you just don't hear of him much, so people are just like, Harrison Barnes? Just because he's in Sacramento now and, you're not hearing him. We're not watching Sacramento on TV right now. I mean, they're still kind of in that irrelevancy phase. No shade, but it's just the truth. When he was in Golden State, he put up some numbers, and then he obviously got that big contract to go to Dallas, I believe it was, is where he went after he left Golden State. So, but Harrison Barnes, securing the bag, 4 years, $85 million. People have been talking about how he's the greatest securer of the bag all time and how his agent is the GOAT. It's just, Twitter is just hilarious to me sometimes. Derrick Rose on the move as well. He's going to the Detroit Pistons. 2 years, $15 million deal. That's a sneaky good deal too. A sneaky good pickup for the Detroit Pistons. Now he's along there with Blake Griffin, Luke Kennard. So the Detroit Pistons trying to make something shake here. So we'll see how that works out for them. Obviously, D Rose had that great game last year, that 50-point game everybody was in arms about. He basically blew up Twitter, and it was a good sight to see for D Rose. So maybe the Pistons will get more of that. We'll see. Look like D Rose may or may not be coming back in the form. I mean, everybody has a good game once in a while, but we'll see how consistent Derrick Rose can keep up. Obviously, he's not going to score a 50-point game every night, but it may just be a sign of things to come for Mr. Rose. Gerald Green staying in Houston as we continue on here with some more free agent signings. He signed a one-year deal to stay in Houston. Terrence Ross is going to stay in Orlando, 4-year, $54 million deal. Al-Farouq Aminu, a good 3-and-D guy, is on the move to Orlando, 3 years, $29 million deal with the Orlando Magic. Bojan Bogdanovic, the great shooter and big man from the Indiana Pacers, is going to the Utah Jazz, 4 years, $73 million deal. So another good shooter next to Joe Ingles. Also, they, remember, have Donovan Mitchell, the newly acquired Mike Conley. So the Jazz are making some moves here too. Don't sleep on the Jazz. They're trying to put their name into that now open Western Conference. Rodney Hood is going to stay in Portland. This is another team making some good moves. Rodney Hood staying in Portland, 2 years, $16 million deal. Remember, he had that great run in the Western Conference Finals, in the OKC series, in the Western Conference semifinals. He put up some big numbers for the Portland Trail Blazers. So he is staying in Portland. So now they've added Kent Bazemore. They got Rodney Hood back. Hassan Whiteside, while we're on the topic of Portland, he has been traded to Portland for Mo Harkless, who's now going to the Clippers, and Miles Leonard is going to the Miami Heat, a part of that deal. All part of that Jimmy Butler deal as well, I believe. Seth Curry, however, is leaving Portland to go to Dallas, his first team. So his second stint as a Maverick, 4 years, $32 million for the other Curry brother, Seth Curry. Congratulations to him. Nerlens Noel. This story is kind of funny because he agreed to a deal and then he was like, actually, can we kind of redo this deal? So they got a new deal in place today that he's actually agreed upon. Ed Davis spoke of the Jazz earlier. He's going to the Utah Jazz, 2 years, $10 million. So another big man that can play some defense, a rim protector, can put in some productive minutes. Another nice piece going to the Utah Jazz. Austin Rivers is going to stay in Houston as well. He signed a 2-year deal. And Wesley Matthews, last but not least, going to the Milwaukee Bucks. So a nice also wing defender who can also shoot the ball and get you a bucket going to Milwaukee. So that'll kind of help ease that Malcolm Brogdon loss for the Milwaukee Bucks. So a lot of big moves here going on in free agency, but still a big domino that hasn't fallen yet is Kawhi Leonard. We'll touch on him in just a second. But I just gotta bring up the New York Knicks, man. Oh, man. How hard of a 48 hours has it been for them? Goodness gracious. Really, how hard of a season has it been for the New York Knicks? You start off thinking Porzingis and Kevin Durant are going to team up. Then you trade Porzingis to clear cap space for what you hope can be 2 max slots that you thought were going to turn into Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. And hopefully you thought you would get the lottery because you tanked and get Zion Williamson. So you thought you were going to have the newest and greatest big three in Zion Williamson, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving. Man, Knicks fans, did y'all go out sad? So you acquired 3 new people yesterday, but instead of it being the likes of Zion Williamson in the draft and Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving in free agency, you got Julius Randle, which, in all due respect to Julius, is not a bad pickup. But it's not a KD or a Kyrie Irving. Now, Zion hasn't proved anything yet in the NBA, so I'm not going to say he's not a Zion, because right now, to me, he's better than a Zion because he's actually put up numbers in the NBA. But it's not a KD or a Kyrie Irving. You also got Taj Gibson and Bobby Portis. Now, come on now. Taj, no shade. I promise, no shade. They're in the NBA. They're great players. They're making money. They're making millions of dollars, way more money than I will probably ever see in my life. I hope I see that much money, God willing, but probably more money than I will ever see in my life. So I can't really talk. But still, you thought you were getting Zion Williamson, Kyrie, and KD. You got Julius Randle, Taj Gibson, and Bobby Portis. You went out sad. Julius Randle signed a 3-year, $63 million deal. Taj Gibson, 2-year, $20 million deal. Bobby Portis, 2-year, $31 million deal. Now, you still have RJ Barrett. You still have Alonzo Trier. You still have Kevin Knox. So, I mean, you got some young pieces that you're building on. And you can try again when the next great free agency class comes around. Now, it's not next year, and I'm pretty sure it's not the year after that. But, you see what you can do. Maybe Kevin Knox develops. I mean, he did have a pretty good season. Alonzo Trier had a pretty good season. We'll see what RJ Barrett does. But you went out sad this time. We're going to chalk this up to L for all New York Knicks fans. And I mean, Stephen A. Smith has just been hilarious. Oh, my goodness. Seeing him on social media, First Take, and Get Up. Oh, my gosh. It has just been so funny. I'm sorry, New York Knicks fans. Man, whew. Goodness. I'm going to leave y'all alone. Let me go back to these free agency deals. Now, let me go back to who the Knicks thought they were going to get. KD and Kyrie, who went to the other New York team. Okay, now I'm done taking jabs for real. Now, this is interesting because Brooklyn has put together a nice little team. But the big question is, what kind of KD are we going to see a year from now? Just to be straightforward, Achilles injuries have been the death of great NBA players. The only player that has come back from an Achilles injury and been pretty much the same version of himself as the Atlanta Hawks' own Dominique Wilkins. Other than that, nobody has really came back from an Achilles injury and been the same, really even close to the same version of themselves. We know the Achilles injury that Kobe Bryant suffered in that Golden State game, even though he toughed it out, still made 2 free throws, he wasn't the same after that. That basically was the end of Kobe Bryant's career. He still played a little bit after that, but come on now. The Black Mamba was not the same. That one basically pushed him out the door. So what KD are we going to get a year from now? Also, are KD and Kyrie going to mix? I think they will, just because KD is, we saw it work in Golden State. He's not a ball hog, just to put it in those terms. He's not a ball hog. He doesn't demand the ball. He doesn't really have to have the ball in his hands. He can move pretty well without the ball. He can get you a bucket whenever, and he's okay with the ball moving around. He's not going to do too much hero ball and ISO ball. He can do that when he needs to, but he's not predicated on that. He's not like a Carmelo Anthony or a player like that where he just needs the ball in his hands. He's just going to dribble, or like a James Harden where he's just going to dribble, and everybody's going to stand around. No, he's okay with the ball moving around. It worked in Golden State. They won back-to-back championships with it in Golden State and would have won this year if he was not hurt. So I think on the court-wise, it's going to work. And I think chemistry-wise, it's going to work because KD, the only knock on KD has been he cares about too much what people think. As far as on the court goes and getting along with people, he's been fine with that. So I think that's all going to work out if, this is the biggest if KD is right. Really, if he's even 80% of himself. If he can, he's still a 7-footer. Let's not forget, he's a 7-footer. If he can still raise up just fine and get off a clean jump shot, they're going to be fine. He doesn't have to be super athletic. He doesn't have to be jumping out the gym. He's 7 foot anyway. He's going to get up anyway. So as long as he can be about 80% of what he was before the injury, Brooklyn got a nice little squad. I'm going to tell you right now, Garrett Temple, he's no bum. He's going to be a nice wing for you. DeAndre Jordan obviously is a good piece. We know he can protect the rim. He can catch some oops. He's got a little bit of a post game now. So he's going to be a nice piece. Obviously, Spencer Dinwiddie, a 3-and-D guy. You got a nice big in Jarrett Allen, a nice young big there. Going to be able to block some shots. So you've got some good depth when it comes to the bigs. You've got KD and Kyrie. That's your 1-2 punch right there. Spencer Dinwiddie is going to be able to put points up on the board. Oh, Chris LeVert. He's a nice rookie who came along well, who was doing great before he got injured. And now he's going to be coming back from injury. He's going to have a full offseason to recover. He's going to be able to put points up on the board. Garrett Temple is going to put points up on the board. Brooklyn is developing a nice squad here, and they're going to be the favorites in the East. Probably not this year. Still might be Milwaukee. If Toronto gets Kawhi back, it'll be Toronto. But once KD comes back, watch out for those Brooklyn Nets. I mean, because they're putting together a nice squad. Kemba going to Boston. Now, it's a good bounce back from losing Kyrie. Kemba, obviously, cardiac Kemba. He's going to make the clutch shots. But Kemba's not going to be the problem. It's the rest of their roster. You still have Jaylen Brown, yes. You still have Gordon Hayward, yes. You still have Jason Tatum, yes. But you lose Al Horford. You lose Aaron Baines. You lose Terry Rozier. You lost a lot of depth. You still have Marcus Smart, granted. But you did lose a good chunk of that depth. You lost some of those important role players. So Boston's going to have to fill out that roster a little bit more. They'll still be contenders in the East for sure. I'm not saying they're not going to make the playoffs or anything like that. They'll still probably be a top 4 seed, 5, I think, at the lowest, the absolute lowest. But they got some work to do on their roster still. So we'll see if they can make any more moves. Now, Philly is interesting. They did get Al Horford, yes, good pickup with Joel Embiid. That's gonna be a nice big combo, 4 and 5 there. You did get Josh Richardson, yes. You lost JJ Redick though. You keeping Tobias, yes. But I'm just not feeling the same way about Philly anymore, really. To be honest with you guys, I just don't feel the same way about them. You lost Jimmy Butler. You lost JJ Redick. And it's not even so much the fact about JJ Redick because you retained Tobias Harris. So you still got shooters. Josh Richardson, he's a shooter. So it's not so much JJ Redick. It's Jimmy Butler, man. Jimmy is a dog, man. He was carrying y'all in those playoffs. He is a dog. He is a bucket getter. Jimmy buckets gets buckets, period. And you lost him. You lost that heart. You lost that soul. I'm not trying to say Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons don't have that heart. But Jimmy is a dog, man. He got that heart for real. You can't replace a guy like Jimmy Butler. You can't replace a guy like Jimmy Butler's heart. So I'm really just not feeling the same way about Philly anymore. Toronto, if they lose Kawhi, I'm not sold on y'all anymore either. We'll see what y'all do. But I know Toronto's waiting on Kawhi. So we'll see what other moves they can possibly make. But if they don't keep Kawhi, I'm not feeling the same way about them. Philly, I'm feeling okay about them right now at this moment for really this year. Just because KD's not going to be playing in Brooklyn yet. But once KD is playing in Brooklyn, I'm not feeling the same way about y'all. I'm not really feeling the same way about Boston. But to be honest, those 3 teams, I'm not feeling the same way about either of them. Kawhi's going to be the biggest piece. Kawhi's going to let me know. Now, do I feel like Kawhi's going to go to Toronto? Not really. I'm feeling either the Lakers or the Clippers right now. I don't know Kawhi. I don't know about Kawhi. I don't know. He's an enigma. He's a mystery to me. But for the purpose of now, let's just say Kawhi does not go back to Toronto. Let's say he either goes to the Lakers or the Clippers or wherever. Let's just say he's not in Toronto for the 2019-2020 season. As far as the East goes, I'm going to say, I don't even know. Goodness. Number 1 seed, I might just have to ride with Philly. I know I just said I don't feel the same way about them, but I haven't seen Brooklyn yet. Brooklyn's going to be close. They're going to be up there. I think 1 and 2 is going to be between Brooklyn and Philly. 3 and 4, Boston's going to be in there somewhere. Don't sleep on Indiana. Indiana's going to be there. Oh, and Milwaukee. Milwaukee. Okay, so excuse me. Reverse that. Milwaukee and Brooklyn might be fighting for number 1. Number 2 is going to be a fight between maybe Brooklyn and Philly. Number 3, I'm going to say Indiana makes that jump with Victor Oladipo. They also just got Malcolm Brogdon, so that's another good piece for them. So Indiana's going to be up there. Don't sleep on Indy this year. Miami, they're going to be somewhere in that 4 to 5 mix with Jimmy now. They got to make some more moves, though. Maybe fill out that roster. You did lose Goran Dragic, so you might want to pick up a point guard now. They do have Dion Waiters coming back, though, so the East is wide open. It's going to be interesting, man. And just to see what happens, if, say, Kawhi goes to the Clippers, the West going to be wide open, too. with the Clippers looking good, the Lakers going to be looking good, Golden State, I mean, they're going to be what they are. Clay will be back at some point, but they'll still be somewhat of a force to be reckoned with. The NBA is back balanced. Oh, man, this season, I'm hype about this season already. Just talking about it got my blood going, got my juices flowing. I'm ready, man. I'm ready to start basketball again. Oh, man. Whew, I just got hype. I know it just ended, but I'm ready for it to go already. I'm really curious to see where Kawhi goes, though. As far as the prediction goes, like I said, I think the Lakers or the Clippers at this point, but really, I don't know. It's only secondary free agency. I don't know. We're going to see. But it's going to be interesting, man. I'm ready for basketball season to start up. The NBA is back balanced. That was another big thing on Twitter, too. So, I'm ready. A lot of moves, a lot of moving parts. Next season, going to be a blast. But let's leave NBA free agency alone for right now. We got some baseball to talk about. And first things first, let me clap it up for my Atlanta Braves. I'm clapping it up for my Atlanta Braves for a few reasons. Number one, they're still first in the NL East. Number two, which I will touch on here a little bit more in just a second. This important run that I told y'all about, they doing exactly what they needed to do in this important run, but still got to cross off one more series in this important run. Like I said, we'll touch on that in just a second. And number three, we got some all-stars, people. Yes, we do. Freddie Freeman, the starting first baseman for the NL All-Stars. Ronald Acuna Jr., the NL starting center fielder. Mike Soroka, an all-star pitcher this year. Let's get it, man. Let's get it. That's what I'm talking about. We making moves. We got some young talent, and our young talent is coming to fruition. It is. Yes, it is. So congratulations to the Atlanta Braves who made the All-Star team. Super proud of those guys. Super happy to be an Atlanta Braves fan right now. Always proud to be an Atlanta Braves fan, but right now, these are the moments we live for, man. When your team is on and they're hot and they're winning, it's just great times, man. It's a great time to be an Atlanta sports fan right now. But focusing on the Braves, like I said, I went back, this was back in, I believe, episode 11 or 10. It was 10 or 11. I told y'all the Braves were about to go on a super important stretch of the season. Maybe, in fact, the most important stretch of the season. And what have the Braves done on this most important stretch of the season? Well, they've been killing the game. Had a great record in June. Actually, the best record in June in Major League Baseball. So, in case you forgot, what did this important run of games look like? Well, it was 4 home games against Pittsburgh. What did the Braves do? Sweep them. 3 home games versus Philadelphia to take over first place in the NL East. What do we do? Get 2 out of 3 and take over first place in the NL East. 3 home games versus the New York Mets. What do we do? Take 2 out of 3. 3 more games in our division at Washington. What do we do? Take 2 out of 3. Win the series. 3 games at Chicago against a Cubs team who was streaking and was hot. What do we do? Take 2 out of 3. 3 more games at the New York Mets in Citi Field. Again, division games, which are important. What do we do? Take 2 out of 3. So if who's counting? But that's 6 series in a row that the Braves have won. 6 series in a row with a sweep in there. But still work to be done. Yes, we celebrate this, but still a lot of work to be done. 50-35, the Braves stand right now. Again, first place in the NL East. But 3 important games against Philly tonight with a 4.5 game lead in the NL East. So we can't lose first place, but it can sure get a lot tighter. But hopefully we can at least take 2 out of 3. And then we have 3 more home games left versus the Miami Marlins before we hit the All-Star break. So realistically, I expect the Braves to get 5 out of 6. Okay, realistically, I'll trim that one down 4 out of 6. I expect us to at least win both of these series. Of course, I hope for a 6-game winning streak right now because we did lose last night, unfortunately. But I'm hoping for a 6-game winning streak. I hope we sweep the Phillies. and really run away with the East. We sweep the Phillies this series. That'll be a 7.5 game lead in the East, and get 3 more against Miami. Who knows what happens to the Phillies in their next series? Maybe we have a double-digit lead going into the All-Star break in the NL East. We're going to see. But Freddie Freeman, Ozzie Albies, Dansby Swanson, Ronald Acuna Jr., Austin Riley has been coming back along. He's been slumping a little bit, but he's coming back and he's getting his swing back. He had a good series against the Mets. So everybody's still clicking. Everybody's still doing their thing. Got to keep the Braves hot. Now, while the bullpen did kind of let us down last night, they have been really good for the month of June. So I'm not going to harp on them too much. Still need to make moves during the trade deadline. I'm not getting off of that. We still need to make moves during the trade deadline. That is a must. And I think we will do that. But as far as right now goes, whoo-wee, our Braves are doing the dang thing. And I know we're going to keep it up. I'm feeling good about this season. I don't know how good yet, but I'm feeling good about the season. I'm just enjoying the ride, people. I'm enjoying the ride. So, to recap this episode, free agency has been crazy so far, and we still got one really, really, really big domino to fall in Kawhi Leonard. We'll see when that domino finally falls, and when it does, best believe you guys will hear from me and my reaction, but I wanted to break down what I thought about this free agency period so far. I wanted to break down all the moves, give you guys all the moves, tell you what I thought about the moves. And like I said, Brooklyn, if you get the KD, he's not going to be the exact same KD, but if you get a KD that's damn near close, you guys are in good shape. You done formed a good little squad. So shouts out to you, Brooklyn. You winning free agency so far. Kemba and the Boston Celtics, you need to not fix your roster, but you need to fill it out a little bit more. You're missing some depth, big time. So you got to work on that. Philly, you're looking pretty good, but you're no match for Brooklyn right now a year from now. So you need to fill out your roster a little bit more, but I do like the pickup in Al Horford. I do like the Tobias Harris re-signing, but all these teams really still got some work to do. You got a year. You got a year before KD comes back. It's really, really wide open for a year, still kind of wide open afterwards. Golden State, you need some filling out your roster to do. You really ain't got no depth. Like, you really hurting for some depth, Golden State. The D'Angelo Russell move was cool, but you need some depth. Miami, trying to get back in the mix, getting Jimmy Butler. It was a good move. Y'all gonna move up in the East now. We'll see what happens. You're still not, you got to fill out your roster too. A lot of these teams still got to fill out their roster, but free agency's not over this year. We'll see what happens. Indiana is going to sneak up on some people this year. Malcolm Brogdon, Victor Oladipo coming back. You got Miles Turner. You better watch out for Indiana now. They're going to make some moves. They're going to make something shake this year, people. So I like that move there. Klay Thompson staying in Golden State. That didn't really surprise me. Chris Middleton, Brook Lopez, they're staying afloat in Milwaukee, kind of keeping it status quo. Even though you did lose Brogdon, you still kept the solid core by keeping Middleton, keeping that good piece in Brook Lopez. The Pelicans working on that rebuild, getting J.J. Redick. Obviously, they got Lonzo, Brandon Ingram, and Josh Hart. Got Zion on the way, too. We'll see about you in a few years, New Orleans. We'll see about you. We'll see what you got going on. Clippers. I know y'all haven't really been able to do anything yet. We'll see if you get Kawhi. Good lucks to you. Lakers, same for you. Good lucks to you. We'll see if you get Kawhi. But the Clippers right now, keeping Patrick Beverley, that's a good sign. Told you about the lesser deals. Again, hate to say lesser, but the not as notable names. But some sneaky good moves. Derrick Rose going to Detroit. I like that. Bojan Bogdanovic going to the Jazz. I like that. Hassan Whiteside going to Portland. If he can keep his head on straight, stay healthy, mature a little bit. I still think he has some maturing to do. That's a good move for Portland right there. Al-Farouq Aminu going to Orlando, staying with Terrence Ross and those boys. They're trying Orlando, you're starting to get the wheels turning. Wesley Matthews going to Milwaukee, a good replacement for Malcolm Brogdon. So, man, the NBA is really, really wide open right now, and I'm loving it. We're going to get some new competition in here. I don't even know who's going to make it to the finals next year. Ain't no telling right now, and I love it. I love it. Going to be a surprise. Going to be a nice little roller coaster ride, I'm hoping. But still, one big domino to fall, and that is Kawhi Leonard. You'll hear from me then. when that dominoes fall. But for now, you can find the boy on Instagram, D_Matt96. Please give me a follow. I will follow you back. On Twitter, at Dylan Matthews12. That's at capital DYLAN, capital MATHEWS 12. And please like this video. Subscribe to my channel on YouTube at Dylan Matthews, or just Dylan Matthews on YouTube. Thank you guys for listening to this video. Give me a comment down below in the comment section. Let me know where you think Kawhi Leonard is going to go. Tell me what you think about all the moves we have seen thus far. I want to hear from y'all. So let me know what's going on, man. Appreciate y'all. For now, peace.